Life is getting back to normal for all of those shell-shocked Russians who were witness to the largest meteor strike in a century. It came yesterday on the same day that an asteroid was scheduled for a very intimate flyby of our third rock from the sun. Greg Palcott tells us the most surprising part of this story may be that more people were not injured in the morning blast.
It came from the sky just after 9 o'clock in the morning local time. A 10-ton meteor racing at around 33,000 miles an hour through the atmosphere streaked over the Russian city of Chelyabinsk, some 900 miles east of Moscow, before exploding in a fireball of blinding bright light said to have the power of an atomic bomb. A few minutes later, shockwaves were sent from a sonic boom that smashed windows, damaged hundreds of buildings, knocked out phone service. Nearly 1,000 people were hurt, some 100 people were hospitalized. No one was reported killed. It reminded me of action movies like Terminator 4, this eyewitness said. The light was very bright, like a bright sun. Then the blast happened. Another eyewitness said there was panic in the streets, and another said it felt like a war zone. 20,000 emergency workers fanned out across the region. 3 impact sites were found. The meteor missed nuclear and chemical weapon storage facilities. Russian President Putin promised aid for those affected. Some small meteors strike the Earth every year, including in the U.S., but this one was noteworthy for its size, injury toll, and visibility.
The thing is that it came down over a populated area, an industrial area, in fact, and that is maybe unusual.
That was Greg Palcott reporting. So could this event have been predicted? Can it happen again? Bill Nye, the science guy, joins us now with some answers. Bill, pleasure to speak to you. One thing that really strikes me about this meteor was its size, about 150 feet in diameter, weighing, I've read, as much as a nuclear submarine, traveling at, what, 40,000 miles per hour? Imagine the impact had this thing come in directly and not been burned up or exploded in the atmosphere. What would have happened?
Okay, I think you got the two events mixed. The one yesterday was barely 5 meters, the one over Russia. The one that just missed us was 45 meters. So if that 45-meter one had come in, you're talking about 200 times the explosive power of the weapons exploded over Japan to end World War II. So this is a real threat to humanity, and what we want to do is catalog them, is find them all. And this is a very difficult thing, especially when they're as small as the one over Russia. When something's only as big as, say, the distance between me and your camera, and it's traveling at over 30,000 kilometers an hour, and it's very dark, they're hard to see, they're hard to find. However, it is very much in humanity's best interest to find them all, and then we can develop ways which really are not they're not that far in the future. Develop ways to give them a little nudge so they don't hit us.
Let's talk about some of those ways, because I've read that there are all kinds of possibilities, from everything from nuking an asteroid to painting it to help the sun deflect its direction. Is that realistic?
Yeah. So what we want to do is change the speed of these things just a few millimeters a second, just a few millimeters. So if you could find it, say, 10 years in advance, before it was going to cross the Earth's orbit when we are there, then you would just give it a little nudge. So at the Planetary Society, and by the way, the Planetary Society made the grant to the astronomers in Spain who found asteroid 2012 DA14. So it's a niche business of finding these fast-moving, relatively small objects with still tremendous destructive power. Anyway, what we want to do is get these spacecraft with solar panels that would pump lasers and shoot the lasers at the rock, and the ejecta, the stuff that's burning off, evaporating, would give it a little tiny rocket motor nudge, so it would miss the Earth when it comes around.
Yet is it true, as I have read, that this meteor, which blew up in the Russian atmosphere yesterday, was not detected at all and could not have been detected because of daylight? Does that make any sense?
Well, very, very hard to detect because it's only sort of this big. And it's dark, and it's going 30,000 miles an hour. I say very hard, but you got to figure not impossible. I mean, if humankind got together and decided this was worth doing, we'd go out there and give them all a nudge.
And Bill, we've got just about 30 seconds left. I want to ask you really quickly, had this thing impacted Earth with that speed, 30,000 kilometers an hour, what would have been the damage?
Well, if it had made it to the ground, just the whole thing, if it was a little bigger, if a little bigger, it would make it to the ground. If you've ever been to Meteor Crater, Arizona, an object on this order of magnitude between 0 and 50 meters made a crater in the ground over a mile wide, like that, in an instant. And so this is why humankind should give it some thought. It would be an opportunity for everyone on Earth to work together to, if I may, save the planet for us.
Bill Nye.
Thanks for having me on.
A fascinating discussion. We appreciate you being on. Thank you very much, sir. Good to see you. Well, enough about problems of the universe and problems of Washington. Coming